4 of doing it scared. Today, I wanted to get on and just do a quick message on anxiety because I have a lot of it today. Anxiety is something that I have struggled with for a long time, and it's something that I actually feel like in a lot of ways I've overcome. Now, there are days that I get overwhelmed with anxiety. There's been times, even in the recent times, that I've had panic attacks, and those are no joke. Like, they're horrible. Your body goes into this horrible mode of freaking out, and it's not fun. Uh, However, I have developed a lot of strategies and coping mechanisms to help me, a lot of tools to help me through anxiety. One of my favorite ones is just simply breathing, is really getting rooted and focusing on the breath. There are so many YouTube channels out there that have a lot of like relaxing breath work sessions, which I'd recommend if you do struggle with anxiety, start there. Start with your breath, start with breath work. Because anxiety, in a lot of ways, especially in today's society, is just, the future that isn't real showing up in our lives today. And it's like, oh, we're so worried about this future event that may happen. And there's a lot of science about the flight or fight and all that stuff, but I don't want to get into that today. I just wanted to say that I'm feeling very anxious because I'm about to embark on a 5-day, 6-day trip for work, and it's always a little anxiety inducing for a lot of reasons. Number one is the travel. Travel has not been perfect for me, especially the last few trips I've taken. I've had canceled flights. I got stuck in New York City for literally like 3 days, and then I had to go down to Philadelphia. My flights got canceled there, and then I had to go down to Baltimore, and it was like taking buses, and it was taking buses, it was taking trains, it was taking a lot of Ubers, and it was ridiculous. And a lot of the hotels in the area didn't have any rooms. So I was sleeping in airports on the floor. It was a miserable time. So my brain is like, oh no, this is going to happen again. And it can be scary. I got through that though, so I feel good. But travel always comes with a little bit of stress and anxiety, from TCA to, am I going to get my bags? For me, I travel with camera equipment, so I'm always just a little bit worried that my camera equipment isn't going to make it, and then I'm not going to be able to shoot. So that's a worry. And it's just like all these scenarios, right, that my mind is creating. It's all these scenarios that my mind is creating. And some of them might come true, but that's okay. I'll deal with it when it happens. Worrying about it isn't really going to help. Now, anxiety can serve a purpose. So I can sit here and be anxious and make sure I have everything that I can possibly do that's within my control figured out. And I do. I have the rental car lined up. I have the tickets lined up. I have insurance on my equipment. I have all the stuff, right? All the stuff lined up. I have all the travel itinerary. I have all the numbers. Everything's very easily accessible. So I have done due diligence in making this as easy as it possibly can be. However, I still feel a little anxious about it. So what do I do? Well, the one thing that I like to do is just come back to my breath. Just come back to my breath and realize that I'm present in this moment here, and nothing else exists outside of this moment. And yes, I'll get to the airport on time and all this stuff, right? And frankly, if I don't, I've done everything I can to prepare, and if I don't make it or whatever, it's okay. I'll figure that out too. Because one thing that I know, and something that you know too, is that you have made it through every single anxious moment that you've had, whether that's studying for a test and maybe you failed the test or whatever. Doesn't matter. You made it through it alive. That is the important piece. You made it through it alive, and you're still alive today. So we have to just continue. As we have anxiety, we just have to continue to stack proof that we can get through whatever is thrown at us, that we can get through it. And when your body starts to take over and gives you the little anxious jitters, you can reframe it as, I love to reframe it as, I'm just excited. Because I think that the chemicals in your brain that fire and everything that goes on, it's not very different or different at all from excitement. Anxiety and excitement are the same chemicals firing in your brain. So therefore, it's just your interpretation of those chemicals. If you were going to Disney World or going on a vacation or whatever, you would just be it would be excitement, right? And especially I think back to when I was a child, there's a lot of exciting moments, right? You wake up, and whether it was you're going to the park today, whether it was a birthday, whether it was it was, going on a little weekend vacation, whatever it was, like swimming in the pool, like there are all these exciting moments. And when you're a child, you don't look at that as, oh, this is anxiety. You just look at this is excitement. So I want to challenge you today that if you do have any anxiety, to reframe it as excitement. It's going to be a challenging couple of days because I'm going to be flying this evening, and I'm not going to get to my destination until like 2 or 3 a.m. And then I have to wake up the next morning like at 6 a.m. to go for an all-day shoot from 6 a.m. to probably 6 p.m. or later. So it's going to be a long day, and the thing I'm anxious about is even like doing these videos, and I'm worried about how they're going to look and how they're going to turn out, because most likely I'm just going to do them from my phone, and my phone is old. My phone is old, so I don't feel like they look as good and all this stuff. So, but this is part of the challenge. This is part of doing it scared. It's like, okay, you're going to be thrown into situations that are going to be a little tough to navigate, but that doesn't mean you can't do them. That doesn't mean you can't get through them. So my videos might only be a minute long because that's all I have, but I've committed to doing this for 100 days, so it might look a little different for the next 5 days. And subsequently, I'm traveling again and again and again over the next 5 weeks. So I'm going to have to learn how to do this, right? So this is me just having to learn how to do this, because this is what I do. This is a big part of what I do for work, is travel around and help create media for people. So I'm going to have to, I've just had a nice little stint home for the last couple of weeks, which has been really great. And it's been perfect because I could start this thing out. I could start this thing out at home. When I committed to doing 100 days, I wasn't even really thinking about all of the challenges that will come up with travel. I was thinking about a lot of the challenges, but I wasn't thinking about that added challenge. So I'm a little bit anxious right now, but I'm doing some breath work, and I'm grounding myself in this present moment and realizing that nothing else exists out of this moment right now. And I'm going to continue on, and I'm really excited for my upcoming trip and meeting new people and filming some awesome content with some awesome, amazing people. Anyway, if you're struggling with anxiety, I am so sorry. It stinks. It's not a fun feeling, but start with reframing it as excitement for whatever it is that you're really feeling anxious about. And if you can't if you don't know exactly why you're having that anxiety, well, that might mean that you have to do some journaling work and ask why 5 times. I love doing that. You're like, well, I feel anxious. Well, why? Because I don't know. I had this going on and that going on, and I don't feel like. And ultimately, like a lot of times, that just comes down to, oh, I don't feel like I'm enough. It's amazing how many things come down to that. How many things come down to the fact that we just don't feel loved and like we're enough. So once you realize that you're loved and enough, some of the anxiety can start to diminish, but you have to truly embody and realize that. The other thing that you can do is a little bit of breath work. Go, throw in YouTube, breath work for anxiety, and just breathe. Just breathe. Get focused on the breath. Meditation can be helpful, but oftentimes closing your eyes and sitting in silence when you're anxious, it can just amplify it, in my opinion. A lot of people might disagree with that, but for me, it's always like, though, that's just an amplifier of this thing. So anyway, I just wanted to get on here quick today, day 24 of doing it scared, and to talk about anxiety a little bit, because that's what I'm feeling in this moment. And I'm very worried about the next couple of days, but I am excited and I'm ready for them. So I will be coming to you through hotels and airports and outside. I don't know what's going to happen. We're going up to Seattle, Portland, so the Pacific Northwest. I'm really excited. I do love that area. It's one of my favorite areas in the U.S., so that's fun to look forward to. But anyway, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I have to start doing this, like and subscribe. I also post these to YouTube. It would be awesome to start building a following there. Eventually, I already know I have big plans. Eventually, and I'm not going to judge myself if I don't do this, but eventually I want to make some really high quality videos because I know how to do that. And I'm just excited for that adventure to come. But first, it's just getting in these reps of talking on camera. And that was the point of doing it scared, right? It's just getting in the reps, not being perfect, being a little bit of a mess, and being okay with being a little bit of a mess, and then moving on and keeping going. So keep going. You've got this. I know that you can get through. You've gotten through every single moment in your life so far. So I appreciate you making it this far. I love you. Realize that you are loved and you are enough as you are right now in this moment. Thank you for watching.